What's going on, everybody? Jesse here again, Quarter Shot Collectibles, Brownsville, Texas. Welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about, give you guys a little bit of history about, I'm not going to go into a full history about myself, but I wanted to give you a little bit of history of my endeavors of trying to like become a show promoter since way back when. So, I just announced that we're going to start the Brownsville Card Show. Really excited about that. I've been wanting to start a show in Brownsville for the last like 4 years. I did do one back in 2021. We'll get into that in just a minute. But there's just been a lot of roadblocks, this and that, a lot of things that happened in my life and with the shop and financially and this and that, that never really allowed it to happen. But finally, thank God, we're finally getting it done, and it's going to be awesome. It's a little short. We only have about a little less than a month to promote, but I feel like we have a good community here in Brownsville. I feel like, they've been supporting us with our trade nights and all that stuff, and I feel like they will still support us coming up with this show. So as far as the show in July, it's going to be July 12th. It's called the Brownsville Card Show. I'm hoping to do it bi-monthly, which means like every other month. So like 6 shows a year, 5 or 6 shows a year. We got to figure it out. Of course, scheduling. There's a lot of card shows around Texas that happen every single weekend. So there's definitely going to be shows that I don't want to cross with or like book the same weekend or whatever. Especially our local shows. We've got a Playground Sports Cards in San Juan that has been growing his show for the last like 3 years or 4 years. I'm not even sure how long, but I remember going to his show when it was pretty much just us vendors and very few people coming through the door. And now this year I'm not sure what changed. Maybe it's the community, the market, whatever, but his first show in I think it was in February, March, January, I don't know, somewhere at the beginning of the year was great. And then everyone after that has been great. So shout out to Mark Trujillo, who started that show and has grown it and is now reaping the benefits of not giving up. That's awesome, because a lot of people might have been like, well, man, it's a slow show, and but luckily he has friends, like myself, that support him. I know I haven't done as many shows as I would have loved to have done. When he first started the show, we were still more toy oriented, and we were doing cards and memorabilia on a very small scale, so we didn't really support his show as much. But once we got into doing more stuff, we started supporting it. But anyway, back to me. So my very first show was back in 1995. This will tell you how old I am. I was approached by another vendor friend who was like, hey man, let's put on a show. Let's bring down a Dallas Cowboy. Let's do all this stuff. And we had set a budget of like $6,000 for everything, for renting the place, bringing down the Dallas Cowboy, advertisement, all that stuff. So I made a million phone calls, and I finally found the right person to talk to try to get a Dallas Cowboy to come to our show. We made a deal with Jay Novacek, and we signed a contract. We were ready to we had to leave a deposit. We had to send I think we had to send half. I think the contract was for $4,000 for 2 hours or something like that. So we were about to send the money, and then this guy backed out on me, and I was like, oh my God, what do I do? And at the time, I really couldn't ask my parents or anybody for help. But luckily, in my younger years, right now my credit's pretty bad. That's something I shouldn't share, but I'm being upfront with you guys. Just things that happen in your life, you end up messing up your credit a little bit. It's not terrible, but anyway. So at that time, I had amazing credit. Even though I was young, I had already I was financed a couple of cars and this and that. In 1985, I was probably, I was born in 73, so I was like 21, 22 years old. Again, luckily my parents got me a car when I was 16 in my name, so I could start building my credit and all that. So luckily I had a good credit, so I went to the bank. And back then it was a lot different than it is now. Now you would never be able to do this. But back then I could go to my banker, my personal banker, and be like, hey, I'm doing this. I need $6,000. I'll pay you back, within a month. Because all I did was just took the money and I paid him right back. So anyway, so we got it going. We rented out the old McAllen Civic Center that used to be on 10th Street. They had the big building and they had a small one in the back. We rented the small one in the back. Last minute, Jay Novacek canceled on us. Luckily, we were able to get Kevin Williams. At the time, he was the second receiver to Michael Irvin. And this was the 1995 season. So this was the last year they won the Super Bowl. So they were having a great season. We did it on Thanksgiving weekend. So I've always loved that weekend as far as the show. We do have Collectors Collision Convention coming up Thanksgiving weekend this year in Harlingen. We'll talk more about that in a little bit also. So we got, back then there was really no way to advertise. There was no social media, nothing. So you had to put it in the Beckett magazine. So I called Beckett. I paid for the ad or whatever. It was like a little ad. It was like at the back of the Beckett. But that's how people found out about shows back then. So, luckily you had a lot of people see the show, see the advertisement, call me up, get tables. We had a lot of people coming in from Corpus, San Antonio, also like all around. We had a huge. It was successful. We made some mistakes at that show as far as like charging the interest, making sure people were in the right lines and this and that. So we learned from that show. After that show, I was able to make the money to pay back the bank, thank God, and make a little bit of profit or whatever. Wanted to keep doing shows after that, but it just the card market started to go down. By 1997, I was out of the card business. I was in the toy business. I had transferred. I had pivoted to toys, and because in this business you have to roll with the punches. You have to. Whatever's hot, you gotta go to it. Sure, you can stay loyal to whatever it is you love, but you're gonna go through some ups and downs if you don't follow the trends. But anyway, so after that, I tried to do one here in Brownsville, we did do one here in Brownsville at the Jacob Brown Auditorium. Again, not the big room, smaller room on the side. That one wasn't as successful. We didn't have a cowboy or anything. It was just a show. That one wasn't as successful, but we tried. And then again, like I said, the card market just kind of crashed around 97. It was already starting to crash even in 95. Even in 95 when we did the Dallas Cowboy, when we did the Kevin Williams show. But it was still enough. And bringing somebody at that time, Cowboys just didn't come to the Valley very, very, very rarely. Now HEB brings them. Certain companies bring them for other, promotional events or whatever. But at that time, nobody really brought them. So we did the Kevin Williams show in 95. We did the Brownsville show probably in 95, 96. I can't remember. I think it was probably in 96. Because again, that was Thanksgiving weekend that we did the Kevin Williams show in 95. Fast forward to 2021, I hadn't done anything. I wanted to start it was going to be called the Brownsville Card, Comic, and Toy Show. I made the announcement. I booked the event center, the Brownsville Event Center. At that time, it was very inexpensive to rent. Now it's very expensive to rent. So at that time, I booked it. I announced the show. Everybody was excited. Kind of the day after, I get a phone call from a friend of mine named Derek Ferguson out of Houston. Shout out to Derek. And first it was just like, hey, how'd you like to bring Bob Lilly to your show? And I was like, that's awesome, let's do it. So we were talking about that. Calls me back and he's like, oh man, Bob's not available that weekend. He's like, but what about doing a full-on con? Because at the time he was involved in the South Texas Collectors Expo, which a lot of us just call it the Laredo Comic Con. He was an investor in that. There was another show in Houston that he was an investor in. He was trying to get into the show business, um, the promotion side of the shows, and he saw an opportunity and he offered it to me. Of course, I'm always like I'm always gung ho, and I feel like, oh man, I can do it. Like, it doesn't matter. It was a very short window again on that one. I think we only had like 2 or 3 months to promote, to plan, to get guests, to do everything. We pulled it off. The show was a success from the public side. Everyone who attended the show loved the show. All the vendors made a lot of money. They were all very happy. All of our voice actors and actors made their guarantees, except for I think one of them. So that was a plus. That's always a plus when you're doing these kind of shows. That's always a plus when you have guests. The only problem was that we just spent too much money behind the scenes, as far as hotels, flights, advertisement, just everything that's needed to run a show. Banners. I mean, you don't even like, until you have to pay for all this stuff, you really don't know how much goes into putting on a big show. You have to have banners, you have to have signage, you have to have a website, a professional website. You have to have a graphic artist who's going to be creating announcements for you. You have to have somebody running the social media, someone answering all the questions from social media, somebody. So yeah, it was a huge thing, but it was a great learning experience. Again, everybody made money, everybody was happy, except for the promoters, except for us. Again, we spent a little bit too much money. It wasn't a huge loss to put us out of business or anything like that, but it still was a big hit. So fast forward, everyone wanted me to do it again. I kind of wanted to do it again, but my investors, Derek and another friend of ours, and myself, we all kind of took a step back and were like, well, do we really want to invest another 60 grand into a show and take that big risk again? I know personally, I don't know about them, but personally, had we taken the second risk and had it not been successful again, that could have put me out of business. So I just decided it's not the time. It's not financially, it's not the time. I just can't. We just couldn't do it. So fast forward to today, or last year, this year, however you want to call it. We were approached by some friends of ours, J&V Toys and Status. They wanted to do a show, and I already had this idea as far as doing an all-inclusive, because I kind of like, there's a show in Atlanta called Culture Collision that has kind of the same concept. I don't think they have guests though, but it's like a mash, of cards. It's basically a card show, but they have sneaker guys also, and they have toy guys also. And then there's Collecticon, which is turned into basically a Pokemon show, but they still have other vendors also. There's still sports card vendors, there's toy vendors. They have voice actors at their show. They bring in the guy from the guy who did the Pokemon theme song to play. They have Steve Aoki play at their shows. They've got, like, the Collecticon is really like somewhere where we would love to get to at one point. But so anyway, I'm teamed up with those guys to do Collectors Collision Convention in November in Harlingen. That's going to be awesome. We do have voice actors already signed up. We're going to be making announcements on all that kind of stuff. Obviously, it's going to be a build up. We don't want to just boom, show you everything, because you want to build excitement. There's a way of promoting these events to keep your fans and your customers engaged, leading all the way up to the show. So, but just so you know, there's gonna be cosplay. There's gonna be a cosplay contest. We're gonna have TCG tournaments. We're gonna have, hopefully, we're gonna have video game tournaments also. Obviously, the show aspect, we're gonna have card vendors. We're gonna have toy vendors, sneaker vendors. We're gonna have a featured artist. That's gonna be a local artist out of San Antonio who's gonna be there selling his art, selling his T-shirts. selling his comic books. We're gonna have vendors from all over Texas coming in, whether they're comic book vendors, toy vendors, card vendors. We're getting all types of vendors for you guys. We're gonna have Bill from Comic Cave has been gracious enough to lend us. I think he's lending us 5 life-size statues. If you've ever seen his humongous Hulk that's outside his shop there in the mall, he's gonna bring that to the show, so you guys can take pictures with the. I think he's got a Deadpool, a Batman. He's got a bunch of them, so he's gonna bring them all, so you guys can take pictures with the big life-size statues. I'm reaching out to Luis Garcia, who's a 3D printer who's been doing some amazing work. He's getting recognized for his work, and we're hoping that he'll be there. We've already booked the 501st, which those guys are. If you don't know who they are, look them up. The 501st Legion. They have groups all over Texas. So they're Star Wars cosplayers, and their costumes are legit. Like, they have to be on point for them to even make it into the club, to be part of the 501st. They're a non-profit also. They do, I think, well, they've always done Make-A-Wish. I'm not sure if they've switched, if their contributions go to something else, but so they're going to be there for you guys to enjoy, take pictures with. Hopefully donate a couple bucks, nothing crazy, but they'll be collecting money to give to Make-A-Wish or whatever charity they're supporting. We're going to obviously make a charitable donation to them also for showing up and being part of the show. And so that's the November show. That's coming up in Harlingen, November, Thanksgiving weekend, 29th and 30th. That's going to be an amazing, huge production, huge. It's going to be the first of its kind here in the Valley. Again, I know that they've done Collecticon is. I mean, they don't have the sneaker aspect, I don't think. But we're kind of a Collecticon, kind of a culture collision match together. Like I said, we already have voice actors lined up. We already have cosplayers lined up. We already have artists lined up. Again, we're just going to be announcing everything little by little, and building up hopefully a frenzy of excitement for you guys to want to go attend the show. And now come up to the Brownsville card show. So again, ever since 2021, I wanted to start that little show. I got talked into doing the big one. That kind of set us back. Since then, like I said, the Brownsville Event Center has gotten really expensive, so I really couldn't afford to go back to that. Hopefully we can grow into that. But right now we were able to get to book the Brownsville Elks Lodge, which is right down the street here from the shop. If you've ever been to the shop here in Brownsville on Price Road, it's just a little bit down the road. There used to be a Hygeia milk factory or something that was there for years. It was closed down for years. They recently knocked down the building, but there's a street that turns in there, and as soon as you turn in there, you'll see the Elks Lodge on the left hand side. So yeah, guys, so we're gonna have vendors from all over the valley, possibly from San Antonio and Houston. I'm gonna talk to some of the guys this weekend at the 956 show, see if they're interested. But yeah, guys, I mean, we're hoping, again, so this is going to be the first time we do this one here in Brownsville, and we're hoping to grow it. And we're starting out 30 tables. That's what we can fit in that venue. So we don't want to make it so tight and all this stuff. So 30 is the perfect number. It'll allow us to pay for the venue. It'll allow us to do some advertisement and invest in like a few other things that we need to do to promote the show, like, print out some posters, print out some flyers, all that kind of stuff, do some Facebook advertisement, Instagram advertising. So hopefully we get all 30 tables sold. We've already sold about 10 of them, I think. So that's going good. But yeah, so I just wanted to give you a little bit of my background as far as promoting shows. Obviously, we've been doing the trade night now for over a year. That has grown. We used to do it in the shop. We outgrew the shop pretty quick, so we started moving in next door to Mino's Cafe. We have pretty much outgrown Mino's Cafe, but At the moment, I'm still trying to help my brother out so he can make some money at the trade nights. But I do think we need to move to a bigger venue, and we'll be discussing that soon. Trying to figure something out on that aspect. But as far as the trade nights, I think we used to do, we've been doing them once a month, and we will still continue to try to do them once a month. But we might have to do them, like if we have a show that month, we might have to skip the trade night for the month that we have the show, which I think that's going to be the case in July. Unfortunately, we just don't have time, because the first weekend in July we're going to be in Dallas. The second weekend in July will be our show. The third weekend in July will be in San Antonio. The fourth weekend in July, I'm going to take my family on vacation because they need to get out of town for at least one weekend before they go back to school, before my kids go back to school. So we're out of time. So we might not be able to do the trade night till August. We'll probably do the first weekend in August, to try to keep it like right there close, but we'll have the show. So, all right, guys. Well, yeah. So I'm going to be promoting the crap out of the show. I'm going to be pushing it. I'm going to be making tons of posts. I already created the page. I think we have about 50 followers already. I'm going to be doing advertisements on Facebook, on Instagram, handing out flyers, going to every event between now and then, and making sure that people know to come out and support. And all right, guys. So I hope if you're a vendor, I hope you trust me. I hope this gives you a little bit of confidence in. Sorry about that. Hope it gives you a little bit of confidence in me as a promoter to get people in the door, which I think that's going to be no problem. And we're doing a very small entry fee, $5. Most shows charge $10 and up. We're going to keep it at $5, and we're going to do kids 10 and under free. So yeah, we're hoping you guys show up. We're looking forward to it. And then the next one we're looking to do is in September, and then we have the big show coming up in November in Harlingen. So yeah, keep an eye on our upcoming events, guys. We really want to build a community here in the Valley, and especially in Brownsville. Shows have always been in McAllen, Harlingen. Now Mark has his San Juan show, which is great. So we don't want Brownsville to be left out. Brownsville needs its own show, and you never know. This will probably create a second show. You never know, because it just seems that every time we start something or we do something, then other people follow, which is fine. The more the merrier. But we started our train night. Again, it's been over a year now. Our friends Dio and his partner have been doing trade nights at downtown coffee shop. I forget the name of the place. We've announced it on our page, and I think they've only done 2, but it's been successful, which is great. I know that there's someone else is trying to do one, which is fine. Again, people see your success, and then they want a part of it. And again, I'm not jealous. I'm not envious. I'm not like, oh, well, they're copying me or whatever. None of that. It's all love for me. It's all blessings. I only concern myself with what I'm doing, not what anybody else is doing. And you guys are awesome. You guys support me. I love you guys for that. And we look forward to having your support in the future for many, many years to come. We're not going anywhere. We hope we're here for the next 20, 30 years. How long? I'm 50, so I'd love to still be doing this at 80. So, but again, I want to thank you guys for all your support. Had you guys not been supporting the trade night the way you have been, it would have been much more difficult to start a show. But with you guys' love and support, and just everything that you guys bring to us, we appreciate it. And again, we're excited. We can't wait, and we hope you guys are excited too. All right, guys. Well, that's it for now. Hope you can make the show again, July 12th in Brownsville, and then probably another one in September, and then our big show November, Thanksgiving weekend in Harlingen. So yeah, let's just keep it going and let's build the community. Let's try to get more people into it. People, if you have friends that have never come to Culture Shock, bring them by. We'd love to meet them. We'd love to talk to you guys and interact, talk Pokemon, talk sports. Oh, excuse me. Talk Pokemon, talk sports, talk toys. I love. That's why I do this. I love it. I love everything about collecting. I myself collect everything, which is hard because I got to sell everything too. But again, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. And we will see you guys soon.